Right. It actually leads perfectly, though, Kenny, into my good point, because my good point was going to be about Vitality anyway, but I think there's two angles we can go with on this. One, I actually did just write as my good point when I sent you it, like just Vitality's level. So there's two parts to this. You can pick out what angle you want to go with. One, I agree with what you said at the end there. This is why I actually picked it. As I said to Maui on Hot Take Point Made, I actually don't just think like Vitality's the best team now. And by the way, I said this before the recent tournament run where now everyone's saw Spirit fall off. They're not just the best team now, bro. They look like they should be like one of the best teams to ever play CS. Like, I'm with you, Kenny. They should have an era now. Like, if I look at any tournament on the calendar, my brain just automatically goes like, if they play like this, they'll just win it. I mean, if people haven't seen the firepower's, even if people don't know, even like Apex and Mezzi have like way better ratings than you think for this year. It's like the firepower is impossible, which by the way, I will always put down to, that means like you said, like the system and the calling's working, because it's not like Apex got 1.5 times better than last year. He's played for 10 plus years, 15 years. Like that implies to me the team is working better. That's it. All the players got contributing together. It's, by the way, the T side's still unbelievably good. And then I'll also throw in there as well, not only is the idea that like they're the best team now, but I actually also think a really cool detail, this is also why I want to bring this up, Kenny, because I know you can relate in this sense, is I actually do find it a bomber that anytime you get like the super duper all-time, the Donk, the Monacy, the Zebu player, we almost expect in CS now that they actually should have to mega carry every game, which by the way, to give you a football analogy, would be like, you know, back in the day, I'll give you the best football analogy ever. Back in the day, if you had Messi or you had Ronaldo and they had those like god tier seasons in the 2010s where they would have like, 60 goals or something, obviously they're going to win if they do that. Like the team's going to be so OP if one player scores 60. In CS, we were all doing the equivalent of like way back in the day when you have like an amazing player but he's on a bad team and he has to score like 30 just to give you a chance to come like 10th in the league. Like that sucks, mate. Like no one enjoys that. Like the star player doesn't enjoy that. It's not great CS, by the way. Like I hate when I watch these matches now. Like I watched a game at this tournament, Kenny, where Monacy dropped like 80 kills over 3 maps and they lost. They lost the series. I've seen this happen with Donk. I've seen Donk have like a plus 20 and then lose the fucking game. And I'm just thinking like, even though it's kind of cool that they have to be as good as possible, that's not reasonable. That's such an unfair expectation. So one thing I actually find cool, I know people think I'm like a Zebu hater. I'm not. I just always thought Simple was better. One thing I actually think is dope is Zebu already can be the best player in the world, but bro, he has the best team now as well. This is where you could actually have something really special. Like he could actually win literally everything. It could be amazing. So I also love when the best players get actually like good help. Like they don't always have to be the carry, but then it means if they do carry, like I'm saying, like a Messi Ronaldo season, which Zebu could obviously do. He's kind of like the fucking Messi of CS, isn't he? Then you're just going to win everything, mate. Then you're just going to be unstoppable. Like if you're Zebu, even it could be even your brain, mate. You could win any tournament now if you just turn up on the final day. No one's going to stop you. This team's too good. What do you think, Kenny? Thoughts on Vitality? You can go any angle you want on this, mate.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much what I said earlier. I think I agree with you. I think they are what it takes to build an era, and that is something we haven't seen. Okay, maybe the closest of an era I've seen the last few years was Navi 2020, because I played against them in Katowice final, bro, in like much harder than Static or Astralis.
Oh,
for
right.
Sure.
Okay.
Because it was really firepower directed as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think they have what it takes, honestly, to get an era. The only thing is, like sometimes the lack of challenges, winning things too easily, because that's the thing right now, is that they're crushing everyone.
Yeah, true.
And I'm at, like I don't see them as like stopping and getting bored of it. But that's still a risk, like for example, a team winning the major, bro, the next tournaments they really care,
Yeah, you get the hangover for sure.
yeah, exactly. So that would be the risk. But no, I think it's like the last final. I think in Pro League they all had like 33 kills or something like that.
Insane. Yeah,
it's the balance is what shocked me the most. Obviously, individually they have the best players in every world almost.
Yeah.
And I mean it's great. Like you mentioned, Manezi Donk. It's great to do plus 20 and it's better to do plus 20 and lose than do plus 20 than to do minus 20 and lose. That's better, right? It's a better feeling. But at the end of the day, you might just end up top 6 Asian TV.
Yeah.
Which is not like
well, it's a very specific example there, Kenny. But okay.
No, but what I mean. What I mean is that like you don't achieve what you want to achieve as an individual. So I think that it's a good thing to have Vitality at such a high level, but now it's interesting to see how the runner-up will react to it. Like Spirit, obviously Spirit is still, like, they have phenomenal players. I think Chopper is surprising, has been Magix has been phenomenal at the major. I don't know much about now, but Shiro, Donk, on paper they definitely have what it takes to compete with them, but they won't. Like at this stage right now, they won't. So that would be the interesting part, is knowing how they're gonna compete. And I want to see FaZe at the highest level again.
Oh, sure.
I don't know. I have no clue what's going on with FaZe, to be honest. I haven't watched enough games, but I want to see, like you mentioned a lot, like the former players, and I appreciate that, because I think it's important for every generation. Like, I'm a fan of football, and I know I know the big players before I was born. You know, it's important to keep that.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
To keep that in the books and keep talking about them. Yeah, I mean, I want Carrigan and Rain to keep on playing and keep shining. I think both are extremely good, and the reason why FaZe is so good on stage is mostly because of those two guys, you know.
Sure.
So I want to know what's going on, and I think the interesting part is not knowing why Vitality is so good, because we've mentioned so many key points right now. Is knowing why they are so much better than anyone else, you know, right now, and how do we close the gap, you know, like how do we close the gap with Astralis back in the days?
Yeah,
it took a while, actually.
Yes.
So yeah, I that would be my question to you guys. How do FaZe, Spirit, Navi will close the gap with Vitality now? And somehow I feel like the Mongols is like, from an outsider's perspective of someone that doesn't watch a lot of CS, I think the Mongols is literally the top 3 best team in the world right now.
They're very good, yeah.
So yeah, how do we close the gap, gentlemen?
Yeah. Come on, Maui, where we going?
I mean, in terms of just vitality and everything, I mean, there's just, I feel like you could pick everything. I know Kenny said it was about this, it's about the system. I feel like these guys are great system players. I think that's what helps. It's like, you make a great system, which Apex has done, but then you put also the best people in systems in that system. It's kind of like it's so synergistic between everything that's happening there that. And another thing, I feel like that we always kind of like talked about, I guess, ZywOo before, like 2019 to 2021. I think the word that Apex even used was he's the best soldier, and that he would just listen to everything that needs to be done and he would just do it. And whereas before he played his style and was arguably the best in the world. I'm not going to say he was, but like, you know, throughout some of those years, he was arguably the best in the world. And then like we wanted sometimes him to just take over the games. I kind of think that him and Rops together are a great match, because they both just unashamedly played their style, which they thought was the best for Team CS, and then they happened onto the same team, and then they both are still they've adapted since then. They're not the same players they were 5 years ago, but they have learned how to fit a team better, how they need to do things which maybe go outside of who they were as players 5 years ago, and it now just is just so harmonious. I think that's some of the best narratives there probably need to be told, in terms of the way that they adjusted their playstyle over the years to end up being such a perfect coupling. And I'm also just glad it's happening, because I've rated Apex so highly as an in-game leader for years now. Like, I feel like people were a little bit slow to give him to crown him as a great in-game leader. I know Richard held on to that for a very long time. Like, Richard was like never really bought into it, but it's like the actual,
which is ironic, because if anyone's supposed to not believe in roles, Maui, it's supposed to be Richard. Like, but then you are right. He just sort of held on to that. He's an entry fragger type thing for a while, didn't he? Yeah, true.
Yeah,
true.
He didn't want to give. He didn't want to give.
We all have our blind spots. It's all good. We all have our blind spots. It's all good.
Yeah, I'd say it's been undeniable for 3 years now that he's been one of the top 3 IGLs. I'd say. I mean, maybe I'd say. I know some people.
Put it this way, Maui. I sort of said this in my point. People before, and the one about the French scene. People before, when it was like the all French lineup, acted like it was just ZywOo plus whoever. Bro, Apex just forget the French thing. He's just one of the best IGLs in the world himself. Like, he's earned that status now.
Yeah, there is something that needs to be
Go on.
like Apex is the best player to play with, literally as a star player.
By
Like
the way, you referenced this
I
earlier as
believe
well, Kenny. Also, if people
I
don't
do
know,
believe
he was the
yeah.
guy, even in the era when your teams were like barely practicing or being really lazy. He was always putting his hours in, right? He's a really diligent player, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and he knows exactly how to use a star player. I believe Zayu will probably remain the best player in the world without Apex, but I believe that Apex makes it better.
Right.
I believe it's easier for Zayu to play with Apex than anyone else, which is why I think, as you say, like Zayu plus one. That's never been Zayu plus one. That's always been Apex pushing Zayu in the shadow, but pushing him like releasing the pressure out of him, working even for him at some point. I believe because he did it for me, you know. And
Yes.
one of my biggest regrets in my career is parting ways with Apex. I did a lot of poor decisions, like a lot of people, you know, like especially when you are in the tunnel vision, when you're a pro
Yeah.
player, your tunnel vision, it's really hard to step back. And I believe that has been one of the biggest miscalculation of mine back in the days to part ways with Apex. After G2 Super Team, I decided to not follow him while I had the option to follow him.
Right.
And that was like the dumbest things I could have done, for sure.
Sorry, Maui, keep going.
Well, I feel like just the trajectory of Apex as a player or as a leader has really just kind of he's just blossomed into it and really just taken up the role in a way where like I think one thing that's I'll even use a contrast here. Like Brolin right now won his first real tournament. Like I'm not gonna count when Katowice they had a stand-in. His first real tournament, he won it as an in-game leader, and I just kind of like, do I really think he's a good in-game leader, or did the players pop off? Because I can't
True.
off of one tournament. It's very hard to tell. Now it's been a couple tournaments, like a third now, where they actually look pretty good. So I'm
He has to
warming
get
up
some
into
credit,
it.
right? Yeah, he has to get
Yeah,
some.
he does have to get some credit, but I think so. Apex took up IGLing for Vitality in March of 2020. They didn't win anything till the end of that year. They didn't win anything till like 8 months later, and I feel like that's reasonable.
Yeah,
and I feel
that's a
like
reasonable amount.
it was much easier for me to grasp the trajectory of Apex versus somebody like Brolin, where I'm like, were you really an IGL prodigy this whole time? Whereas I don't know. That's the thing is like for me, Apex earned his stripes as a leader, and I feel like anyone that's trying to take that away from him now is blinded by some kind of bias. Richard has given it up to him at this point.
Oh,
Like you
fair
can't
enough.
deny it at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point.
fair
But like you know, I don't know if he rates him like number 1, 2, 3, 4 where on this
Sure.
ranking, but he can't say he's not a bad in-game leader.
Yes.
Like that is gone. You can't do that anymore.
Yes.
So
I would even go further by saying that in the span of 3 years, he's probably one of the best in-game leader of the history of Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Literally.
I totally agree.
And he's a great captain. He's a great captain. And there is great in-game leaders. I think Carrigan is an in-game leader I love a lot because I think he's both a great in-game leader but also a great captain. And I think that you build that through, like, you talk about Apex trajectory, and I think you build that through a lot of disappointment as well. You know, as players, we remember our loss much more than our wins. You know, and the development of a player is also made out of how do you analyze that loss, and how do you come back from it. You know, and many players, including myself, we just had the wrong perspective of it, the wrong vision of it. So the development was a bit slower. But Apex, for example, I think the trajectory is perfect. The fact that he struggled so bad for so long. And he struggled with himself as well. You know, like he had a lot of things to fix with himself. And losing so much, not giving up, because not giving up is a really strong characteristic of Carrigan, Apex, which are for me the current best in-game leaders in the world. You know, and among the definitely in the top 5 of all time. So yeah, I do believe that what makes a great captain, because that's the thing. Like I haven't seen Mouseport. You mentioned Brolan. He might have like the great like ideas of the game, but I don't. His personality doesn't look like to me that he's a great captain. But I might be wrong, and maybe he's gonna improve with that. But I think that the best is to have both, you know. And Apex is definitely both. He was a great captain back in the days, before becoming a great in-game leader, and he just became both in the same time, you know, at some point.
By the way, I even do think that to tie into what you're saying, that is even an underrated aspect. One, he's a great caller now, but I also do agree with you. I think people haven't given him any credit for what his work with Zemo. I mean, people have heard it in interviews and seen it on camera a million times now. There are times where he's almost like the personal hype man of fucking Zemo, and you can see he can sort of like break him out of his funk and sort of get him into the game. And if people don't even know, he even does it in sort of the cool movie way that every fan wishes you would see a coach do, of sort of be like, listen, mate, we're going to be out the fucking tournament if you don't carry now. Like, that's what everyone wishes someone would say to the star player. But normally, by the way, a lot of people who are IGLs and coaches are afraid to do that. They think that's like too much pressure to put on someone. But that shows me he knows Zemo. He knows exactly what sort of gets him going. As he was saying back in the day, he knew how to set you up, how to get you into a round if they haven't got an AWP kill yet or somewhere, or do some crazy push somewhere. No, exactly. I'm with you. I think that's underrated. By the way, to answer your question, obviously the joke is there is no answer now. Everyone's trying to find an answer to Vitality. And right now, as I said on Twitter, there actually is no answer whatsoever. Like, spoiler, not only do they have like the best team, the best players, the best calling, the best T side, their map pool is actually almost unbeatable right now. Like, I've seen people try Maui to go on like hits on TV and go, oh, this is their sixth best map. Yeah, spoiler, they win their sixth best map against people as well. Like, Mongols tried that. They tried like picking into Anubis and got actually clapped by these guys. Like, it's so hard. So I'll make like a semi-jokey, but this will be real analysis. But the point is like, these are pipe dreams. I'll tell you the first most obvious thing I think of, because what I'm going to do is, since Vitality's unbeatable right now, I'm going to make it like Space Jam. If we want to beat them, we have to make like the super team, right? The most obvious one of all time, another excuse to just talk about old French shit, is, bro, here's what I always thought was the dumbest thing the French scene ever did, Kenny. It wasn't like Kick Existence, that's an old fucking beef, we can leave that behind, it's gone now, it's all good. It wasn't like the battles of NBK and Shock. The worst thing the French scene ever did was you had all these fucking Swedish teams winning all the majors and dominating, and then you and Shocks just sat on opposite teams, Rifler and fucking Orpa, and weren't ever like, maybe we should play together. Because, like, bro, I look back and I think of all those teams. I go, but if you just put Kenny X and Shocks in their prime together, though, that would be it. That's the chance right there to beat anyone. So all I'm going to say is this, guys, if you're in Spirit and you get sick of losing to Vitality, if you're fucking Monacy and you're in G2, you're sick of coming bloody like second to last place, mate. I don't know, crazy idea, Monacy and Donk. Maybe fucking play together in your primes. Like, that'd be pretty cool right now. If you make that team tomorrow, I'm in. I'll watch it. I think that'll be fucking insane. That's like some movie shit. Then also, more importantly, like, if the map pool changes, you could have a chance here. I actually think, by the way, the meta right now fits them perfectly. Their T-side aggression is just like unbeatable. And then lastly, you guys kind of touched on it. Since Apex is doing such a good job, I think you've also got to have the other great in-game leaders have the right pieces. Like, obviously, Alexi and Na'Vi, no one knows what. By the way, Na'Vi and FaZe right now, so Carrigan and Alexi B, it's rumoured, if you look at where they are right now, maybe they'll have to make a player change. If those teams make the right player change, I also could see those teams being like as good as well, because I do think you've got to sort of like counter the IGL aspect, hopefully. By the way, the Blitz guy from Mongols is really good as an IGL too. I think he's doing a great job. So I think you've also got to look at either the other superstar players so you can match a Zemu in the server, or you want another great leader with a great system. And I think, actually, I'm with you, by the way. A really cool thing to me would be if Mongols really gets over this choking and they just are like the third best team in the world. That would be dope, mate. I would love to see it. I think that's a really good team.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.